Big breaking news coming in at this moment. The top court, after 40 days of hearing, the second largest judgment or the hearing in the Supreme Court has now finally concluded. The Supreme Court has reserved the Ayodhya verdict. It was expected to happen today. We were expecting it will happen at 5 o'clock, but an hour ahead of schedule. The most crucial Ayodhya verdict has now been reserved by the Supreme Court. We are expecting that by or before the 17th of November, when the Chief Justice of India demits his office, we could expect a judgment in the case. It will take that long for the judges to write the judgment, go through the evidence that has been produced and write the judgment. The arguments have concluded, and what a day this has been, where it did take the Chief Justice himself to soothe some frayed nerves. Vaidya, I believe, is now with us. Vaidya, this is finally the end of a very, very long legal battle.
Sanket curtains down on a long hearing which has created history. It's the second longest hearing in the Supreme Court history. Around today is the 40th day of the hearing, which began on 6th of August. So it went on. Both petitioners from Hindu side, Muslim side, all argued. Finally, Mr. Dhawan appearing for Waqf Board as well as other Muslim parties, ending the argument, quoting poet Iqbal, saying that the court should protect the minorities. These are the words. So finally, Chief Justice saying that the judgment reserved, and he also told the petitioners, both sides, saying that within 3 days they will submit in writing what is the relief they want in the judgment. So within 3 days they will have to give, as you rightly said, that on the 17th of next month Chief Justice is retiring. So we can expect the judgment before 15th being the Friday. So 11th and 12th, I understand, is closed all day for the Supreme Court in November. So probably 13th, 14th would be crucial days. Of course, they get less than a month to write a memo judgment. Probably all the 5 judges would be writing the judgment, because it will be creating a history in the Indian judiciary. Absolutely.
Vaidya, let's free you up so that you can get more information. Sunil Prabhu, NDTV Sunil Prabhu, as well as Alok Pandey are also standing by. Sunil, let me come to you first. Vaidya was talking about the molding of relief and arguments to that effect, where each side will be asked what relief they want. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, it's in the scheme of things that the petitioners as well as the defendants in this case will have to approach the court to seek what exactly do they want the court to do when they give and deliver their judgment. It's in that backdrop that they will look at what kind of relief can be provided based on their submissions. Having said that, as you are well aware, this is the second longest hearing in independent India from the Supreme Court perspective, after Kesavan Bharati case, which went in the basic structure of the Constitution, which went on for 49 days or 47 days, if I might have to be corrected on that. This is, of course, the 40th day where the Ayodhya case carried on. And it's in that backdrop that the courts gave everybody a hearing. Some of our arguments, of course, have been repetitive, but the simple point that is being made is that this is going to be a huge judgment, a judgment which will, of course, have a huge impact on India. It's extremely sensitive, extremely politically significant also, because of the mix of religion and politics that has taken place in the late 80s and early 90s, and then, of course, carry forward that entire process. And it's in that backdrop that today we saw some scenes which happened in the Supreme Court where we could see tempers fraying, and it's based on that that we can realize that the situation is definitely something which will have to be keenly watched. And as Vaidyanathan was pointing out, 13th, 14th, 15th are probable dates where we can see a judgment that is expected. The big question is whether the brother judges will come together. How do they go out with their verdict, whether it will be split verdict, whether they will have a joint judgment or there will be separate judgments. These are various aspects which will have to be read and looked at, but it's just looking at the records, it's been voluminous, and as both sides, the petitioners have been going, it's actually been in a way a lesson in history about the various states and the land rights and the way they gave patronages to religious institutions and how they went about that entire process. So it's extremely important, a big learner, and of course finally curtains down for an important case. It's ironic today in the Supreme Court, a rare occasion where the Chief Justice of India actually asked for the curtains to be opened up and fresh air to come in. And he of course couldn't see many people today because of the fact that the sun was coming in his eyes. And of course Justice Dhawan used that phrase to continue to make in his usual eloquent self to make certain points to arguments to the judges. But definitely even though the curtains were open in the Supreme Court today, the curtains have been drawn for a huge
fantastic
and
analogy
very
there,
important judgment that is expected.